Hibblejaybob and welcome to Cold Waters. So I'm just doing a quick episode. Today we're going to do the Duel, the 1984 version, and we're just going to take a random ship and see what it gives us. Fuck. Okay, so we've been given a Ming Class submarine, which is an evolution on some of the earlier Chinese submarines that are available in the game, but it's still not good compared to the modern standards of submarine. So we're going to be up against either a Russian or another Chinese submarine. So let's see what... Well, we don't have a choice of weapons, so nothing else for it other than to go. And
sonar lost contact. Last bearing 225. Contact faded.
Oh wow, good, nice layer up top. Right, so first things first, I can only go to 985 feet, otherwise I risk imploding. And we're a very quiet submarine, so at least we have that going for us. It's a diesel electric boat, so provided we, you know, kind of mill about, we should be okay. You can see the little sonar arrays off to the side. Okay, so let's get up the messages. So 225 was the last bearing.
Come left to 225. Help.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
So we're going to rig the boat for silent, and we're going to go over to 255, which is left. So you can see here, basically, the sensitivity of sonar is kind of loosely proportional to size as well as technology. So the ones that we have in the front, because the torpedo tubes are in the front, we've got two at the front, but neither of them are particularly big. So I don't know what's going to be the best one. Of course, we don't have a towed array. So what we're going to do is we're going to speed up time a little bit until we come around to 225. And that way we've exposed the flank arrays and now the forward arrays to the ship. And we cannot find them, which isn't great. So what I want to do is I want to take us up into this layer, which is at 82 feet. So I want to come up to 50 feet and see, because if he's gone to periscope depth, then he might... Actually, do you know what? I'm going to come periscope depth. And the reason I'm going to do this is we are chasing Sierra 1, but we don't actually necessarily know that Sierra 1 is a submarine. If it's a surface ship, we might not necessarily hear it because it's got a strong layer. So being within the layer will let us hear anything on the surface, and with a moderate duct it'll let us hear anything around us for quite a considerable distance over what we're doing now. So basically, if the enemy submarine is within that layer, there's a good chance we're probably going to find it. So I'm just going to speed up time as we bring this ship towards the surface. Okay, I'm within the layer and I've got no new contacts, which is a good sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ESM mast up first.
ESM mast.
Why am I not getting the ESM? Okay. I'm gonna use the ballast to increase this because I don't think the thing is technically above the surface. Okay, now I've got ESM. So I've got no detection whatsoever. So there is no ships in the area that are using surface signals.
Raise the radar
So that's a
mast.
good chance that the enemy submarine is not using its radar mast as I'm doing, and I'm detecting absolutely nothing. I should detect things with the radar, but all I'm seeing is waves. This is a waste of time. Right, okay, cool.
Downscope. Lower the radar mast.
Fine. So I'm satisfied that there's nothing on the surface near me that I need to be aware of. So we're now going to dip beneath the waves and we're going to go all the way to the bottom within reason. So I'm going to go to 800 feet, which gives us 200 feet just about either way. Approximately... I think every country does it differently, but when it comes to test depth, I believe crush depth is calculated at approximately, and the stress is approximately 120% of the test depth. So in theory, I could go to 11,050 feet and be fine, but it would be risky. It would be very risky. So they always say, so in the Second World War, which is the only time kind of submarine combat was really a thing, there was quite a few stories of ships actually going beneath test depth and then beneath calculated crush depth, usually because they had damage or were avoiding other ships, and actually surviving to return to the surface. So, you know, the early maths of submarine was either not perfectly right, or, you know, they were built a wee bit stronger than they thought they were. So what we're doing at the moment is we're going down to 800 feet. The reason that we're doing that, so there's a really good diagram somewhere, and I don't know if you can get it in game. I forget. Oh, no. Nah, okay. So there's a help menu in the game that would basically describes the manual for the game, and it gives you a really good idea about how sound works. So the thing about modern submarines is acoustics are very, very important. And understanding how sound works is important for finding enemy submarines. So if you're within the layer, as we were, so I'm just going to point out the layer, what happens is the sound travels and then it hits the layer and can't penetrate it, so it bounces up to the surface, bounces down, bounces up, and that's why you have what's called the duct, because rather than the sound dissipating through the layer, it actually travels through it. Whereas when there's no layer, or when you're below the layer, what happens is your sound comes out, but it actually goes down. So the closer you are to the surface, the kind of further away you can be heard by submarines that are running deep. And similarly, by us going deep, any submarine that's up near the surface over here, its sound is going to be coming out and then dropping down towards us. So by going as deep as we can, we might have a good chance of trying to see who is here. So we're now at 800 feet.
Con, dive at 800 feet, dive by.
And I still have sweet F all contact. Yeah. So the thing is, the ambient noise is 100 decibels, which is not as loud as the sea can be, but it is quite loud. So I'm trying to decide on my next course of action here. I'm not a fast submarine. My maximum speed is 18 knots.
1. Make turns for 3 knots. Maneuvering aye.
So if I put my active sonar on, which is the logical course of action at the moment, if I put my active sonar on, what will happen is I may or may not detect the enemy submarine, but even if I don't detect him, he'll be able to hear me, and I don't know what submarine this is. This could be any submarine, so it could be a very, very capable submarine, and in which case he could return fire before I've detected him. So it's risky, and I'm not going to be fast enough to outrun an enemy torpedo, nor do I have any decoys. So I'm basically fucked. The other option I have, there's nothing on the surface, so I'm quite confident that whatever we detected at the start of this video is a submarine. So I'm going to bring us up to 200 feet. And I'm going to take a pot shot in the direction of where the ship was at the start of the video. And the reason that we're going to do that is because I don't expect to hit him with this. It might, that would be good, but I don't expect that to happen. But what I'm hoping is it'll pass near enough to him that he freaks out and he either takes a pot shot at us, which we'll hear, or he'll turn on his active sonar, which we'll also hear. And it's a gamble that his active sonar is not going to pick us up. But if I hear it, I can then pot shot another torpedo with a much more accurate bearing on where he is. So it's a risk. It's a calculated risk. But I think this way is going to be slightly better than if we do it the other way around by us using active sonar first. So I'm going to set this torpedo to make as much noise as possible. I don't think he's within the layer. Actually, seeing as we're here, let's have a quick check in the layer again.
4, 5, 8, dive by.
And we'll just double check he's not there. No, he's not there. So we're going to go back down to 200 feet. So I'm going to set this torpedo to run below the layer, which is what this means. And I'm going to set it to make as much noise as possible. And I actually want us to come this
left
way.
2, 1, 3, 1, helm aye.
And the reason I want to do this is because I don't want to be in the same place I am when I fire this torpedo, because that's pretty much not a good idea. So I'm going to put us to silent running. And
Con, helm, steady course.
the enemy submarine. So you may notice that this game, my game, currently doesn't look like yours. If you play Cold Waters, and that's because I've put a mod on that kind of increases the fog of the water. And the reason I've done that is because for YouTube purposes, I like to have it that I can always see the ships around us, so that way you can watch a ship getting torpedoed. But it does mean you can kind of cheat and you can see ships that aren't there. But now this fog means that you actually can't. You have to rely on the sonar, which is a much better way of doing it. So the longer we leave... Oh shit, this torpedo can't travel very far. So the longer we leave this, the less likely he is to hear it. So I'm going to go for 230. I'm going to set this to activate at 2 kiloyards. I'm going to set it slightly away from the 230 because I know he's going to travel. I just don't necessarily know what way he's going to be. So I'm going to gamble it on this one.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
Okay. We're going to wait until this gets to 1 kiloyard away, so I'm just going to fast forward time. And so that should make the cable long enough. See, it's 1 mile away and you can barely see our submarine anymore. So I'm now going to dive us down to 800 feet again, because again, I don't want to be in the same position as I was when I fired this torpedo, both in terms of location and depth, because he's going to, when he sees this torpedo, if he sees this torpedo, I have no idea where he is, I am gambling, then I'm going to, yeah, he's going to pot shot it in the direction and the height that this torpedo has come from. So the U5 torpedo is not a particularly capable torpedo. You can see here the cone of search is very, very narrow, which is why it's having to kind of sweep left to right. And normally when they do that, it's because they want to cover an entire 180-degree arc. But it can't even do that. You can see it's kind of getting to... Yeah, it's maybe about 120-degree arc it's covering. So this has only got 10 minutes of fuel. Again, it's not a very capable submarine. So I'm just gonna... torpedo. So I'm just gonna fast forward time as much as I can. Because I have no idea where this enemy submarine is.
Dive at 800 feet. Dive by.
So he's probably not on this bearing anymore. My hope is just to catch him as close as I can in order to be able to force him into doing something. That's all I'm trying to achieve with this torpedo. It's now 12 kiloyards downrange, so a little under 12 kilometers now, 13, 14 kilometers, and that achieved sweet frickle. Cool. So 1 minute to go. Torpedo's dead. Okay. Cool.
Depth 4, 5, 8, dive by.
We're going to bring us up within the layer again. That didn't achieve anything. Are we still even within range of it? Yeah, we're still within range of this submarine. So we're going to bring us up into the lair. I just want to keep checking that lair to make sure there's no enemy submarines in there. And there's not. I've got sweet fuck all. Cool. Happy days. Right, I'm going to bring us now down to 300 feet.
4-5 feet. Make depth 300 feet. Dive high.
And we're going to go with plan B, which is the active sonar. So I have modded this rather ham-handedly, so this is going to be very loud. I do apologise. But it kind of uses modern sonar sounds, because the sounds that are in the game kind of reflect only one band of sonar, whereas like modern submarine sonar sweeps. And then this is where this kind of modification that I made kind of breaks down, because this isn't strictly the most modern of submarines, but it's going to get loud. I'm going to do one sweep in order to try and trigger him into... Like, one sweep will be enough for us to detect if he's there. Not enough to get a good bearing, but we'll roughly know where he is. But it might goad him
300
into active sonaring us. So actually, one more thing I'm going to do before this is I'm going to come back round here.
Right to
Because if he does fire his
238,
active sonar back at us, I don't want to be broadsiding him, because that's going to present a big target. So, our torpedo strategy didn't work. We'd probably left it too long from starting the scenario to when we chose to try and achieve that. So, he's probably moved on from the area. So, here we go. Let's make it loud.
Con, helm, steady course.
So we're now going to passive. So no detections. And no return active either. Okay. Let's do the same thing but in the
Make depth
duct.
4-5 feet. Dive high.
Actually, do you know what? Let's... try
Raise the
again
radar
with the
mast.
radar mast. Oh yeah, these won't work at the moment, right? Yeah, just because after a while, the enemy submarine's obviously going to be frustrated because it can't detect us either. So he's probably going to try to come to the surface at some point to try and counter detect us, but that's not
Con
happening.
sonar, switch
Lower the radar mast.
Right, let's just continue an active sweep all the way down to 800
Make
feet.
depth 800 feet. Dive high.
So I can see. Oh no, I've now got active the
Con
other way.
sonar, switching to passive search.
Okay. So we're gonna level out at 200 shots. At 200. I now have a good idea of where he is.
Depth 200 feet. Dive high.
He's over this way. So you may have thought, because I was on time compression, it happened really quickly. But there was a flash of yellow, which is enemy active sonar. So he now knows, if he didn't know before, he now knows that there is an enemy submarine here. Let's release the ship from ultra quiet, because there's enough noise, it's not going to matter. And let's just snapshot that bearing. Okay.
Shoot 2-2. Aye, sir.
I think he's... I'm gonna extend this out to 2.5, to 3 kilyards. Because... I think he's quite far away. I don't think he can detect us, because he's not fired. So launch transients, unless you're using swim out torpedoes, launch transients are what happens when you use air to force a torpedo out of the torpedo tube, and it's very loud. Okay, he's moved.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
It's very, very loud.
Dive at 200 feet, dive by.
So, I would hear his counter fire
Depth
if he's
800
counter fired,
feet, dive by.
which I don't think he has. However, my problem is this has only got 10 minutes of fuel in it. So, you know, like, think about the Swordfish, which is the modern British torpedo. It's got an hour of fuel in it. I think the Russian UGST also has an hour of fuel in it. So, like, think of how far that can travel. 10 minutes is... can't travel very fast at all. So, we're gonna go see if this torpedo can hunt something. Oh shit, I've set it to run. No, I want it to go below the layer. I think he is below the layer. So torpedoes now come. I've still got the wire, so I can control this torpedo. Okay, I think he's over this way. So I'm just going to keep this torpedo from searching. I've still got the wire. So yeah, we're just going to keep this torpedo from searching. Just going to keep it nice and true for the minute. So the good thing is, because we've got the wire, we are getting information from this torpedo. So we can see that he's now 4.7 kiloyards downrange. So we're going to be able to, you know, have a good idea of where he is or where he is not, depending on when this torpedo either detects him or runs out of fuel. So... okay. Problem is, once it gets far away, it gets harder to kind of coordinate the bearings. So I think I'm still loosely on track. I'm going to turn it slightly to the right. Okay, I'm happy that's still the right way. So he has not, to my knowledge, counter-fired. To my knowledge. No, I'm pushing F3. He's definitely not counter-fired, because it would show me if he had. He's obviously getting frustrated that he can't detect me, because he's running his active sonar for a few sweeps, same as what I did, but he's not getting a return. So I'm quite... so he's switching it off in order to prevent me from assessing his direction. So I'm quite confident that he hasn't detected where I am at the moment. We've only got 7 minutes of fuel, so I'm happy the torpedo's still on the right bearing based on what we can see here. So I can hear it pinging. So once you start getting above or near to above 100 decibels of ambient noise, the passive sonar within a torpedo becomes effectively useless, which is why I've got it pinging with the active sonar. Okay, he's now switched his... oh no, there we go, he switched it back on again. So he's switched his active on, so we've only now got 6 minutes of fuel. We're now 8 kiloyards down range, and he can't hear me. I'm going to increase speed, because we're not detecting him passively. In theory, I should actually be able to start piecing together a contact of where he is with his active sonar, but I can't. So there's no point in me continuing to go slow.
Make turns for
So I'm going to bring us up to 10 knots,
maneuvering
which
up.
will help us maintain this. I'm also going to change our direction to start heading loosely-ish towards him.
3, helm aye. Con, maneuvering, making turns for 10 knots.
He's still miles away. Yeah, he's very, very far away. In fact, I might... yeah, it says no vessels nearby. So it's got 3 minutes and it still can't detect where he is. 2 minutes. I'm getting close. You can hear it's getting close. I'm going to bring us to 18 knots.
Turns for 18 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Okay, so he is approximately here at the shoal where the water gets deep to where it gets large. Gets deep. So I'm going to make straight
right
for this point.
329. Helm aye.
I'm just going to go as fast as I can
Steady course.
on time compression for a little bit until we get there. We could leave the area because we're now no longer in danger. We know he's looking for us. We can hear him. But yeah, we need to try and get him. Let's use this opportunity to reload this torpedo. And we'll see where we get
Con,
to.
torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
Con, maneuvering. Making turns for 18 knots.
Once we get, see the problem is because this boat's so slow, there is only one time compression speed unfortunately, so we're going as fast as we can. As you can see, we're not moving much. To me, the sound of the enemy sonar is actually getting louder. So now that he's not detected us, but he is aware that we are there, he may have been travelling out of the combat zone and he might have turned around and now be coming towards us. I don't know. So just in case, I'm going to quickly put us to silent and see if we can't pick him up. So we're going to bring us...
Make depth 4, 5 feet, dive aye.
Because that's definitely a lot louder than it was when we started hearing it. So I'm just going to see if we can't detect him. See if he's in the lair. I'm not going to bother putting the radar mast up. I don't think he's going to be on the surface. He's not within the lair.
Con, dive at 4, 5
Let's see if we
feet,
can't
dive
goad
aye.
him into doing something stupid.
Con, sonar. Switching to active search.
Well, it shut him
Con,
up.
sonar. Switching to passive search.
Yeah, it shut him right up. He's not pinging
Make
us on
depth
active
8, 0,
anymore.
0 feet,
Oh, there he is.
dive aye.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's bring the speed up.
Make turns for 18 knots.
Actually, I can't even see what
Maneuvering aye.
direction that is. Okay, we're still going the right way.
Con, dive at 8, 0, 0 feet, dive aye.
This was supposed to be a quick video. What happened? Okay. Oh yeah, he's not as far away. He's not been. I think he's moving slowly now that he knows that there's an enemy submarine nearby.
Con, maneuvering. Making turns for 18 knots.
So he's still pinging us. One of the downside of the mod I made is that there's a lot of static hiss because I'm using real world examples, and the problem with that is in the real world there's lots of static. It's not just a pure noise. So I'm actually now hearing the static, so I know through not so legitimate means that I'm a lot closer to him than I was before. I'm going to keep the speed
Make turns for 14 knots.
high,
Maneuvering aye.
because this is a quiet boat, so that's fine. I'm going to wait for his next ping of active sonar. I'm going to fire a torpedo ahead of us. Come on, ping me. Do it. Do it. Do it. Oh, now he chooses not to use active sonar? Fuck off. He's not fired at us, has he? No, he's not. Okay. Alright. Aha, there we go. Got you, bitch.
1, aye, sir.
Now he might have heard that because we're a lot closer. So you can tell by the strength of the bar how close it is. So you can see it's a pretty solidly yellow bar, which means we're hearing that noise a lot stronger now. Question is, right? Okay, so I want you to go this way. So I want you to come to the port a little bit. Right. So he's this direction, and we're just doing the same thing we did before. Maybe it's traveling faster than I thought because we've only got 5 minutes of fuel again. So the good thing about this boat being so slow is we can travel at full speed and still have the wire. Two minutes. Let's just do a quick sweep. Because he's turned his active sonar off, so I can't hear him anymore. So I just want to see if we can't pick him up at the 11 kilo-yard range. He's definitely still in front of us. But our torpedo's too far away.
Make turns for 18 knots. Maneuvering eye.
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
We lost the wire. Okay. I think he's really close. So we lost that wire at around the 12 kilo-yard distance.
Come right to 3,
And
3, 4.
I think
Aye.
this oh, hello. I think the submarine's really close here. So we're on a wild goose chase. In fact, I need to pay attention to the C4 because the C4 is starting to come up, which could present problems actually. Okay. C4, 900 feet.
Maneuvering. Making turns for 1.
I think this is the shallowest part of it, so we should get shallow for a while and then get less shallow, I think. Oh no, then it goes into shallow ground again. So we're just gonna have to keep monitoring the sea floor. So our tactic is, so we're basically scouting with these torpedoes, which is kind of all we can do. This is turning into a really, really long episode, like, and I'm baiting this enemy submarine commander so fucking hard. That active sonar is getting so loud. And now he switched it off. Oh no, he switched back on again. Okay, cool. I don't want to keep unnecessarily firing torpedoes. I wonder if I can pick him up at all. Right, let's take this off. Let's go ahead and go to
Depth passing 800 feet.
350 feet. I should be okay for cavitation there. If I'm not, I've fucked myself over. Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, cool.
Con, dive at 350 feet. Dive aye.
Okay, let's put us to ahead slow.
Make turns for 3 knots.
Just to
Maneuvering
see if we can pick him up at all, which we can't. So I want to wait for his next ping, and I want to make sure that we're definitely heading straight towards him, because I think he's moved slightly over to the left now. Are we even... Okay. I still think we're not near him. We might have to abandon this hunt for him, because we can't seem to catch him. The thing is... Okay. I slightly missed that, but he's over this
Come
way,
left
so we're slightly to the
3,
left.
2, 9. Helm aye.
Let's see if we can't pick him up on my active.
Con, helm, steady course.
Nope.
Con sonar, switching to passive, sir. Make turns for 1,
Right, okay, the seafloor's gone back to 1,000 feet, so we're going to go down to 800
Make
again.
depth 800 feet. Dive I.
So the deeper you are, the less range there is for them to hear you, so if you're running fast, that's usually a good thing. So
Dive at 800 feet. Dive I.
I'm not going to fire any more torpedoes. I think we've kind of done that route. I think we're just kind of going to keep...
Make turns for 1.
Still says there's no vessels nearby.
Maneuvering I.
Unfortunately, because we were a slow boat, if he's realized that we're there and can't detect us, he might have chosen to run. So if he's going like the clappers at, say, 25 knots or whatever, I'm never going to be able to catch him up. It does sound to me like we're getting closer, but we've gone from having a vessel nearby to now having no vessel nearby, which kind of implies he's at a distance of over 25 kiloyards to us, which is the most preposterous unit, but it's what the game is measuring, so, you know, it's kind of what we have to use. So we're just going to keep traveling at 18 knots. And what we'll do, so these torpedoes are not very capable, so we're going to get ourselves to the end of this. I think he's moving slightly to the
Come
left.
left to 320. Helm I.
I'm just mindful of the fact that I can actually see the sea floor, which isn't good. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until we get to the edge of this little box here. And if we still can't hear him, if it doesn't say vessels nearby, then that means he is not within range for me to be able to fire him, not with this crappy torpedo. So I think it's probably just a goose chase. It is never going to go anywhere. So, might call it an episode. I think he's come back over to the right
Come
slightly.
right to 333. Helm I.
It's not a bad looking boat, this. It's very kind of World War II inspired in its shape, but it's got so much more modern features. Like you can see the flank array, the forward flank array, the aft flank array, and then the kind of... See, he sounds closer. Vessels nearby. Game fucking on, bitch. Okay.
Come left to 327. Helm I.
Okay, we're game on. I want all of these to run below the layer if I have to use them.
Con. Helm. Steady course.
And I want the active sonar on. When he's using active sonar, like if I could have a torpedo sneak up on him, that would be ideal. Because with him using his active sonar, he's going to be so unbelievably loud. So if I go to the signature tab, you can see the scores. Now I don't have a contact, so I can't see any numbers here. But basically, you've got you've basically got the score at which you're picking up that contact, and anything above 10 is when you can detect a new contact. If you know where a contact is and it drops below 10, between 0 and 10, you can still track it with decreasing accuracy, but if you'd never detected the contact before, you wouldn't be able to detect it now. Once it drops below 0, that's the point where the sound, the noise the object is making is below the background noise of the ocean itself. And my point of this is that if you've got a submarine that's kind of, you're picking it up on active sonar at 14 decibels. Decibels. I say decibels. I don't actually know if the unit is in decibels. It's most likely to be decibels, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, my point is, if you're picking it up at a score of 14, you can detect it, and that's when it's on passive. And then if it puts its active sonar on, I've seen submarines go as high as 90. So, you know, you can really, really hear them. So if you fire a passive torpedo, as long as he's using his active, it's probably still going to hear him, actually. So he is doing this. So let's go ahead and do another one of these pot shots.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
And let's see how we get on with this. So we're going as fast as we can, because as I discussed, you can still use your the ship isn't fast enough to break the wires. Oh, I think this ship's close. I might be wrong. I mean, I have been through the 4 torpedoes that I've used before. "9 minutes.
Con, fire control. We've
Fuck.
lost the wire.
That was the one thing I didn't want to happen. It was a risk, but okay. So we'll just see it. So I can't see how long it's going to be.
Ready.
Listen to how close that active sonar is now.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing.
Noisemaker,
3,
that's huge.
0.
That's huge. Okay, so we now know exactly where he is at the moment. So let's fire another torpedo. Let's get it going over here. 8 kilo is right on the limit of what we can do.
Aye, sir.
But that's huge. That is absolutely
Noisemaker
massive.
bearing 3, 3.
So
0.
we've not detected the submarine yet, but these noisemakers are so loud, we know exactly where he is. So let's just see if our torpedo... Okay, it's been foiled by the noisemakers. I think this is going to explode.
Noisemaker bearing.
I don't
3,
think this is
3,
going to have
2.
enough fuel to hit him. It's also being very confused. So you can just see the shadow of the submarine. Oh, I can't anymore. Okay, yeah, it's just... The submarine's just here. I can barely see it because of this fog of war mod that I'm using, which I quite like, because it's really, really intense, particularly if they fire torpedoes at you.
Con sonar, new contact
There we
bearing
go.
3, 3, 6. Designated Sierra 1.
Okay. So I'm going to pretend I didn't see that.
Make turn.
I didn't actually get a good
3
look at it, I was
knots.
looking at something else.
Maneuvering
So
up.
I want to hear what it says. So I'm going to go to Russian submarines, because we know that we're up against a Russian submarine. So it's cavitating, which means it's making a lot of noise. The water, we're getting slower in the water, so we want to be able to hear this. So this almost lines up to a trawler, actually, but we know it's not. So let's just see what... Oh, that was close. No, okay. So we want to match the 2 outer lines.
3 knots.
Delta 4, that lines up perfectly. And
Con sonar, Sierra 1.
It certainly-
is classified as submerged submarine.
it certainly had the hump of a Delta rocket. Okay, so this torpedo can now no longer see him. So I'm gonna divert this over here. So he's actually given this torpedo the slip completely. As I said, this is not a capable thing.
Come right
So
2, 3, 4, 3.
this is what I mean by this, by the number. So now that I have a contact, I can hear them. So because he's cavitating, because he's going so fast.
Noisemaker bearing 3, 4, 2.
Where's that noisemaker? Yeah, okay. So because he's now going so fast, I can hear him. I'm hearing him at 26 level of passive, but he's hearing me at minus 35. So I am so quiet compared to him. He also can't hear me on active, so my assertions earlier were right. If I put my active on, because he's so far away, he's not. I'm not actually going to achieve very much at all. His towed sonar, it says 0. It's actually his tonar. His tonar. His towed sonar is so because he's going so fast. His towed sonar is not working. Right. Okay.
Con, helm, steady course.
Okay. We're getting 80% solution. So this is going to move. So we know he's roughly in the vicinity. Okay, so that torpedo died. Cool. Yes. So we now got an exact solution on him. Perfect. So we're going to direct it. What depth is he at? So I want to...
Sonar,
Fuck!
Contact. Sierra 1. Last bearing 3, 4, 7. Contact faded.
Okay, so he's now taking pot shots at
Sonar,
us.
launch transient from Sierra 1.
Perfect. Great. This is properly game
Come right
on
to
now.
063, helm aye. Make turn 189.
So he's now put a noisemaker out. That's also huge. I want to fire just a couple of shots. I'm gonna do one to
Con
here.
fire control, we've lost the wire.
That's fine. And I also want to do one over here
Con
as
fire
well.
control, we've lost the wire.
The reason I'm doing this is because there is a good chance that these torpedoes, with their cones being so short.
Noisemaker bearing 348.
Okay, so he's over this way. I kind of want to hunt these noisemakers. So I want to come hard port this way.
Come right to.
And I want to
0,
get
helm aye.
clean out the way of his incoming torpedoes. So we should be close enough now that we're going to pick up the noisemakers. I think he's moving away from us because he now knows where we are. He knows where we're coming from. And now, because we kept full speed when we were doing that previous torpedo, it's got 5 minutes. There's his things going back. So I'm going to make this torpedo come deep a bit, because I know that he was approximately 300 feet, so I want this torpedo to be about 300 feet. Okay. So he's not going to be that much further beyond it. Okay, we've now got another noisemaker, so if I plot his course, I think he's going to be over this way. In fact, I think I can just see him almost.
Torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Okay. So I'm not going so fast that I'm not going to be able to pick him up anymore.
Fire control, weapon acquired.
But the torpedo can. Yeet. Torpedo's not got a good lock. You can see it shaking between red and blue, which is it can detect something, but it's not sure it can detect something. But you can see it's tracking him, so you can just see the thing looming into sight. And my suspicion is this is in fact a Delta 2. At 18,000 tons, there's a good chance I'm actually going to need a couple of torpedoes to be able to finish him off. God, what an episode this has turned into being. I thought this was going to be like a quick 5-minute thing. Okay, I've still got the wire, so I'm going to manually steer this torpedo through the noisemaker. In fact, I'm going to... So I'm actually going to use this so that I cannot cheat at all. But his course is approximately this way.
Fire control, weapon acquired.
So, yep, I was right. So I'm now going to come back off this view. So one of the things that I've done is so that I can't cheat, I'll sometimes go to this view so that I can, you know, not cheat. And that is a Delta 4.5.
Contact on Sierra 1.
So he's shitting himself sideways. It went under him? Are you fucking kidding me? But I can hear him, so I'm going to go back to this view. And I'm going to bring us around, so he ain't following me. So I can see the torpedo is not at his level, so I'm going to bring the torpedo up by hand. That's too high. And I think he's here, so let's steer him in. Okay, he's been hit. Oh, he's been hit right amidships.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1. Last bearing 351. Contact faded.
This torpedo might get me. So how many has he fired? He's fired 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, his torpedo might actually get me. That's uncomfortable. Okay, right. So we know exactly where he is. So I want to go ahead and fire another one of these over here. We're gonna put this on. We're gonna put that there, that to there, that to there. Let's reload this tube.
Room, no reload.
Okay, I've run out of torpedoes. Perfect, great. But it'll be worth it to finally sink this bastard. Okay, fine. Yeah, okay, so he's fine. So all of his shit's gonna miss except this one. I think this torpedo's incredibly dangerous. It might get us.
Sonar regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 350.
Yeah, I think this torpedo is actually going to get us because we're not moving fast enough.
Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 340.
Fucking hookers!
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1. Last
Okay.
bearing 350.
It's coming down to my depth. It's got a good lock on me. Cool. Perfect. So let's go ahead and vomit out one of these decoy boys. And I want to get his... It's already got us.
114.
Actually,
high.
no, I want to keep going this way because what I do.
Sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 3.
Have two of them
0,
got us?
0.
Yeah. Okay, so we're sank.
Con sonar. Noise make. Con. Helm. Steady course.
Right, so what I want to do, I suspect that we're probably gonna die. So I want to fire a salvo.
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire. Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
And I'll keep one last torpedo. Okay. So we've got 2 torpedoes after us. And he's going straight for the torpedo, so we're in a lot of trouble. So we can knuckle to get ourselves out of this. Yikes. I think we're probably going to go ahead and get ourselves sunk. Yeah, I know. So I'm just going to keep vomiting out countermeasures here.
Con, fire control, we've...
Con sonar. Noisemaker. Bearing 3, 5, 0.
Ah, there he is. There's the torpedo. Okay, right, fine. So, I'm sunk. I'm definitely sunk. Right, okay. Yeah, no, fuck you. Fuck you! Right, okay, let's see if I can... Oh, fuck. No, I'm screwed. Yeah, I left us too late. I left us way too late. After all that. Yeah, okay, so it got us and we're below escape depth. So, there's naught we can do. But, did we get him? That's the question. So this one's searching. This one hasn't found anything. This one is so close to him. In fact, I can actually see him. He's there. But it's not getting him. So the question is, this salvo that we put out, did we get him? So, I'm invested in this now, but I know that you're probably going to want to see the action. I can't time accelerate from now on. So I'm just going to come back when we either hit or miss this guy. So, we'll see. In other news, his second torpedo's about to hit me. Oh, there we go. Right in the sail. Great. So we're sinking in quite spicy fashion. Tragic. Okay, so here we go. Not from the salvo of the 3. They're still behind us somewhere, but this torpedo has now found the Delta 4. So he's already taken 1 torpedo directly amidships, but I can now no longer control them because all of my people are dead. We're sank at the bottom of the sea. Yeah, we are well dead. So this is a salvo of 3. So this is the one that's found him, and once again the captain, he can hear him, and he can hear this torpedo coming, and he is shitting himself sideways. So he's hanging around near the surface because he's got flooding, and the fact that he's cavitating, so you can see those bubbles coming off the back of the submarine, is a good sign that this torpedo is going to keep being able to hone in on him. It's got the active, it's got the passive, it's got the speed. Does he have the countermeasures? Does he have any way of avoiding this torpedo? It's not going down as fast as he is. No, it got him. And is he sunk? Yep, those air bubbles means the pressure hull has been breached. So that's him. That's him. He may have taken me out, but I've taken him with me. Fucking yeah. Would have been better if we could survive, but you know, whatever. This has been an hour long. Jesus, I've just seen the recording video. This is supposed to be 5 minutes. But you know what? It's worth it to have finally sank him. It maybe has taken an hour, but holy fuck. Right, okay, cool. We're done. So he is not actually sinking particularly quickly, but it's going to take him a long way to get to the bottom of the sea. I'm already making one with the barnacles, so see you next time. Bye!